Hey, Christians that own your own business, let me ask you a few quick questions. What is the primary goal of your business as a Christian? Secondly, how should a Christian business owner define success for their business? And are these primary goals and the definition of success different for a Christian-owned business to a non-Christian-owned business? And finally, as a Christian who owns a business, what are the metrics that you are tracking in your business? Those are great questions, and let's get to them and talk about them real quick. And at the end, if you stick around, I'm going to give you a very practical way to begin moving your business toward having a God's heart aligned purpose and vision and mission. First question, what is your, not your business, but what is your, as a follower, as a disciple of Jesus, what is your primary job, primary responsibility assigned to you by your Savior on this earth? Have you ever thought about that? I think it's seen from Genesis 1 to Revelation 22. It's the same thing. It's about your purpose. Your primary job is to make God's name great and His salvation known from the rising to the setting of the sun, so that He will be worshiped in heaven by people around the throne from every group of people in the world worshiping God. And so your primary mission, your primary job, your primary assignment by Jesus is found in the Great Commission, which is to go out and make disciples amongst all groups of people in the world in order to glorify God. So that leads into what is the ultimate purpose of your business as a Christian, as a disciple of Jesus? What is the ultimate purpose, the ultimate goal of your business? Is it to make money, to bring in revenue? Is it to make a profit? Is it to serve your customers well? What does that look like as a disciple of Jesus for your business? How are you defining and measuring success? And I think a lot of how you define and measure success can be seen by the metrics that you are tracking in your business. So what are the metrics that you track in your business to judge whether your business is on the right track? Because I think we all know as business owners, the metrics we track are the things that are going to get our attention. And so we need to make sure we are tracking the right metrics to get to the right result. So what do you track? Do you track sales? Do you track outgoing phone calls? Do you track outputs and other results? Do you track the inputs of what's required to make those things happen? Or as a Christian-owned business or as a disciple of Jesus-owned business whose primary job as an individual is to make disciples, are you tracking disciples made through your business? Those are deep questions, I think. Before we get to that, this video is sponsored by something I think that will help you. It's called the Northstar Challenge, and what that does is it helps you get an overall, I call it an overall or overarching vision or purpose for your life. That then you can orient all the different areas of your life under this overarching vision or purpose. And so the way this works is it will be you and I talking on the phone, just one-on-one, nobody else, for 5 days, between 30 to 60 minutes. And what we're going to do during those 5 days is we're going to work through a framework that I put together to help you start putting together this overarching vision for the next 12 months of your life. And the way this works is the cost is $10, but the $10 doesn't come to me. And how to do this is all explained down in the show notes, but there are 3 organizations listed down there, 3 nonprofits. What you need to do is go to the link to one of those nonprofits, make a $10 donation, screenshot the $10 donation, and then send me a copy of that screenshot to either the phone number or email listed below, whatever you choose. I will get in touch with you and we'll get this started. Now, back to the show. So, how do you define success for your business? That's what we're looking at. If your primary objective is to be making disciples, then shouldn't that transfer over into your business? And so my question for you is, are you tracking a metric in your business about how many disciples you are making through your business? That it's just as important a metric as revenue, gross revenue, profit, sales, whatever your metrics are that you are using to determine average sale, lifetime customer value, whatever you want to track that you think needs to be tracked for your business. Is making disciples a metric that you track just as closely as you do all these other things for your business? So, what might this look like? For a Christian-owned business to have as its primary goal, its primary objective of glorifying God by making disciples amongst all nations. Well, what if the ownership of the business, what if the leadership of the business came in every day focused on as its primary objective, intentionally going about the day, looking for ways to make disciples amongst the business, the employees of the business, the customers and clients of the business, the vendors that you work with through your business? What if that was a primary goal for your, or primary objective for your business? That was the goal. And at least one of the ways you're measuring success of the business is based on the number of disciples that you are making through your business. Is this different than what we normally hear? Absolutely. Is it aligned with God's heart? Absolutely. I believe the primary purpose of my business is making disciples. At the end of the day, the primary purpose of my business as a disciple of Jesus, since I don't even own my business, Jesus owns my business, right? God owns my business, is to be making disciples of Jesus. And I think it's the same for you. So what does this look like practically? And here's what I want to get down to. How can you start today tracking disciples made through your business? I'm not saying throw out all the other metrics of your business. I'm just saying add this in as one metric that you're tracking that is just as important of any other metric that you are tracking in your business. Here it is. Go about your day having the goal. This is a metric that you track. Track it. Don't wing it. Track it just like you track revenue and profit. Go about every day looking to intentionally attempt to have one spiritual conversation with one person every day. Now, how do you attempt to have one spiritual conversation with one person every day? This is what I would recommend. It's very simple. You ask one person every day. Try to rotate between employees, customer clients, and vendors. Okay? So you just keep rotating through those three. An employee, a customer client, and then a vendor. And you just keep rotating. Ask them a simple question. How can I be praying for you or your family? How can I be praying for you or your family? And once you ask the question, just shut up and listen and give them time. Because what I found from asking this question is I tried to, as soon as they didn't give me an answer right away, I tried to diffuse what I thought was tension there. And what I've come to realize after talking with people, when I asked that question, it wasn't tension. Many times they are seriously thinking about, what do I want to tell him that he can pray for? So give them time. It's okay. Get used to silence. It's okay. It probably means they're thinking. And then what you do is you record this. You write down the name of the person and the date and what it is they wanted you to pray for. So it would go like this. You have a client come in and you say, hey, Mrs. Johnson, I'm just trying to love on the community. I want to ask you, you certainly don't have to answer, how can I be praying for you or your family? Mrs. Johnson tells you whatever it is. And then you say, hey, Mrs. Johnson, would you mind if we prayed together right now? I promise I won't make a scene. It'll be short. Nobody will know we're praying except you and I. I won't even close my eyes. See what they say. You know what? Almost every time the person, my experience has been almost every time the person says yes. And then you say a short prayer. I mean, 10 seconds. We're not trying to impress people with how great you can pray. And then you tell Mrs. Johnson, Mrs. Johnson, I have a list of all the people that I asked this to and what they tell me. And I'll put your name down there and what it is you asked me to pray for. And I pray for this list every day. You only say that if you actually do. But I tell them, look, I don't pray through the whole list every day, but I do spend some time praying on parts of the list every day. So I can't promise you I'll pray for you every day, but I will continue to rotate through this list and you will be prayed for on a regular basis. And then you write it down for the date, the name, and what she asked you to pray for. Then I don't know how often you track your metrics. However often you look at the other metrics, you look at this. But the goal is 1 per day. So if you do it by month, at the end of the month, 30-day month, you should have 30 people that you've interacted with. Okay? However you want to do it, but it is a metric that you are tracking. Because as we know, what we track is where we focus our attention and our actions and our efforts. So put down a concrete metric that you can track on how you are doing through your business at making disciples. Hey, if you found this thought-provoking, if you found this challenging, if you found this presenting something new that you hadn't considered about that you're finding interesting, how about liking this video? How about sharing it with somebody that you think it might help? And finally, how about subscribing? If you really liked it and you found something useful in here, how about dropping a comment down here? Or if you think I'm totally off base and totally wacky and crazy, go ahead and put that in the comments too, because all the comments help me be able to create videos that are more helpful for more people.